modeling engine in App Store. Okay, this video will show you to how to from the start to build the app, build a module in the EO, right? So let's demonstrate from the start. Which, let's say, here I already create a form. So normally in workflow, right? One of the app store, one of the way is, since normally you have a existing workflow and existing form design which is we use in the workflow. When you click in the workflow, there is some existing workflow and here, right? So this is how you already created your workflow as well. So the form design is here. So this is the form design. You can see that there's already have applicants, department, date, and drop down box of constraint type. And then here you can input your contract name, and then you can put in your attachment, okay? And then having the reviewers as well. So this one I already create a workflow that link to the form. This is the workflow, right? So this workflow is the one that you, in your new request, you will find demonstrate 3. Remember this name because later we will use it. Okay, this is from the workflow perspective. Okay, so now we go to the App Studio. Normally people might wanna create from scratch, which you just click on new application and then name it, and then the type is choosing blank. So in the uh, App Studio, you will need to create again the create the form inside and the workflow inside. Okay, but now since you already have a existing workflow in the workflow module, so what we do now is, you, instead of choosing blank, you choose the from workflow, and then you can name your demonstration 3. Okay, so demonstration. Okay, so now what you do is, after you name it, right, and then you select from workflow. Now this workflow, you click on here, and then you need to find the existing workflow that we mentioned earlier, which is this one. You select it and then you choose it, and then you create. So now your workflow demonstration 3 app already created. You click inside, you can see that what's the difference between you selecting a existing workflow and you create from scratch with selecting the blank, right? Is just now you can see up this created. I click inside, there's already an existing workflow here. So if you click on new application and then here, right, instead of you selecting the workflow from workflow, you just select blank and then you click on create new. What it does is, you need to create another workflow from here. Okay, so if you already selected a existing workflow module, it will straight up help you create the workflow from the existing one. So let's check inside. So here you can see that this is the same exact form design that we already created in the workflow module, and we go to the workflow. In the workflow, this is the workflow that same 100% copy and paste from the workflow module as well, because it's straight up copy from the existing workflow in the module. Okay, so if you will check on node setting as well, you can see that already set up perfectly, and then you doesn't need to done anything on it. What you need to be be what we call what we need to do is, in here, right, you can click on quick create menu. If you don't want to quick create menu yet, it's fine with it. So I will demonstrate one for you. Let's say from workflow, right? Instead of integration, because we haven't we haven't create the menu for the demonstration tree of the workflow of the App Studio, right? You won't see the uh, module in here, okay? Because I haven't created in the menu configuration. So we can go to workflow to test if the demonstration sheet, if we submit a workflow on here, does it also will share the same information with the App Studio's workflow. Okay, so now contract name, let's say I click test one, right? Contract, okay, and then I click submit, and then click confirm, right? Okay, so what's happened in the App Studio is we can go in here and then we click on preview to check in the list and see if it linked, right? So now we can see that system admin company name and then step reviewers, all these things, right? This means that it's already linked, right? So you can even if you are not using the workflow module, you straight up clicking into the App Studio, but the workflow is being raised in the uh, workflow module, you still can process the workflow, something like the reviewer one, reviewer two, approvers things, right? You also can process it through the App Studio as well. If you have the permission to preview it, or you have the permission uh, to make make the decision of the agree and disagreement in the App Studio. Okay, so since I'm reviewer one and reviewer two this workflow, so I click on agree and then I click on submit and I click confirm. So now I will proceed to reviewer two. Do remind that this is in App Studio. This is not workflow. So basically you can also have filter it all of these things instead of using the workflow or workflow instead of using here. So the difference is more specific, and even if you wanna do something like, let's say there's a batch read, batch end, batch follow, telegram, batch, all of these things, right? And even although I doesn't show it here, but even if you wanna have a total sum up of the workflows amount, all that things, it also exists in the App Studio. Yep. So for now, this App Studio is more act as a listing, but if you wanna raise a new workflow as well, right? Similar to the workflow here, you can see that on the right hand side, bottom up, uh, top top up side, there's an initiate approval, right? You just click on it and then you can also raise a new workflow as well. Yep, it's just same function with the workflow module. Since we link both of it, so in the workflow module, you don't even need to don't you doesn't need to even click on the outside data function. Normally we click on outside data function is because, let me show you why. Because normally if let's say this demonstration tree, right, what it does is I change in this blank instead of choosing the workflow, okay? I create a module and then I click on demonstration tree listing, okay? And then I create blank, okay? You can see that I already create a module, but after I click in it, I need to redesign all of these things, okay? So let's redesign it, okay? Or if you don't want to redesign, you also can import your form design as well. Like this one, you just export it. Okay, after you export it, here you can import it, import local file, and then import the form design. There you go. Then here click on save. And then this listing normally it will help you rearrange already, and then you can redesign it based on what you want and what you doesn't want of the field lah. Yep, and then this field control. Then now is basically done. I can say this is a basic version. Okay, so what we do is because after that we click on preview, right? This is what you can see, and then if we go out to the App Studio, okay. If you go to the App Studio on this blank, we go preview. You can see that this is the demonstration tree listing and now it's empty, right? So what you do is you can go to the workflow, form design, workflow design, you find demonstration tree. So you go to the outsend data, activate it, and then you click on reviewer tree. What is different with the just now from the starting one? The one that we straight up selecting from the existing workflow is that here the information of the data will only being shown in the App Store listing, demonstration tree listing, when the workflow that you raise already gone through all of the process, all of the status, and then already finish. So after the process finish, only it will shown the in the App Store's list demonstration tree listing of this. Since the outsend nodes that I select, right, is the last nodes. If you select on the first node starting nodes, right, then it will shows the starting nodes information data. But since normally we want the full version of it, which is normally is being processed and already done all of the processing issues of things, right? So we will select the last one, okay? So now we select the modules, we go and find blank demonstration tree, and then you can connect all of them. Right. Okay. After you connect all of them, you click on save. Then now the outsend data is done. So after that, what you do is let's go to demonstration tree and then we raise a new workflow and see what happens. Okay. And then this one is test listing one. Contract name company. Okay. Click on submit. So we remind that there's a review one and review two process that need to uh, go on. Okay. After the message being sent, you can go to the studio again and we check out the blank. So here you can see that it's still empty because it haven't processed until the last node, right? So if let's say I process it until the last node, let's see what will happen. Okay, this one. Is it this one? System admin test ABC is not this one as well. We can go back to the workflow and then all workflow the test listing one. Okay, this one, and then let's check it out. Okay, review one, click on submit. Okay, and then review two. Review two is the last notes of it. So review two as well. I agree. I submit, and then the end of the workflow. After all of this, right? We go back to the App Studios and check out again the blank. Now you can see that it appears on here, right? So this is what the differences between you're using absent data and you directly link with the existing workflow. So one is that you can raise your workflow at both sides and the data is share each other. But if you're using outside data, you need to select which node that you are wanna outsend the data to. Yep. So one is active all the time, and then one is more like a sharing listing things instead of the workflow is sharing on the both sides. Yep. So this is how you create using the uh, App Studio, and let's say you want this App Studio to appear in here the menu configuration, right? So what you does is you can select the quick menu, or you can select it inside, which is click on this quick create menu, right? Then you jump a menu setting in here, and then you just input the name demonstration tree listing, right? And then you can select your icon as well. Something like this one. Then we click on save. So after you click on save in this menu setting, you go and check on our application, you won't see anything appears on here or created on here because you need to refresh the page with using logout. You need to log out and then log in again to then there will be a changes happening. Then now we're logging in and then we go back to the all applications. Then now you will see that there's a new module being appeared right here. And you click in it, you can see demonstration tree listing. So why the name is empty is because you need to go back to your setting and then there's a menu configuration and then you find the one that for this one, right? You can see that here we doesn't give in a name, so we need to give in a name demonstration. Need to give it a name and then select category to have a category. That's fine, and then click on save. Right. Click on save. After that, if you log out and then log in again, then now your name will be appearing on the module listing. Yeah, of the menu lah. Yeah. So this is how you use the App Studio, the modeling engine to do the module in the menu configuration as well. Yeah. Thank you.